screwing around and start!
View here, and we're doing the wind-up deck profile from the recent Duel series. I did change the deck a little bit from the last one, actually kind of a lot, but there are things that have changed and there are things that you can change, such as I have 24 cards currently that I'd like to use in my wind-up extra deck, and I am currently only using 15, obviously, since going above that would be against the rules. There are so many cards, so many combinations. I'll explain my choices and ones that could change. There are ones in here that you obviously don't need to run, and there's some that I would highly suggest you do. Without further ado, we're going to go into the deck. I do have the deck almost completely foiled. There are some cards that aren't, and there are some cards that are not as foil as I'd like them to be, but I'll explain those as I get to them. First of all, Wind-Up Magician. This card combos well with some of the spells I'm running in here, and the fact that there is 3 copies of Shark. This card right here is the key, OTK part, while this card right here is what pushes your plays at all times. With this card, you're always able to make some sort of XYZ, whether it's on the field, in the graveyard, in your deck, who knows where it is. It can modify its level, if you did not know that already, from either 4 to either 3 or 5, so it's really nice, and he summons himself whenever something else is out, so it's a really good combo there. Next, running 3 rabbits. I'd like them to be secrets, but that's not important to the plot. What I'm caring about with these is they are the main combo point of the deck. What you do is you summon it, and it always can bounce out of the way. Almost no cards can stop it unless it's like a warning, something that drastic. And the other thing is, it never goes away in the fact of you're always plussing of it, and you want to be able to keep a monster on the field for you to be able to attack with, or if you want to be able to create XYZ plays. Because it bounces, you do take some damage when they attack directly, but that's what some of your trap lineup's for, and I really like the card and would advocate it at 3. Next, we've got Wind-Up Rat. Wind-Up Rat is your top deck of Destiny card. I always draw this card when I need it. The whole Jaden and that whole episode of where he's just trying to practice and drawing well, this is the card that I draw when I need it, and I can add it whenever I feel like it, since Factory does chill on the field a lot, and he's just a wonderful card. 2 Warrior, never dead. I can sit there and summon this guy and push for a little bit of damage or set him and stuff. Just activating his effect to search with the Factory is amazing, and he is what you want in the graveyard. I've made plays where the entire point of the play at the end is just summon him for free using, let's just say, a Invoker. Against the Batteryman deck, what they did was I went and I took his monster with mind control, did a whole bunch of damage, and at the very end of the combo, I threw this guy on the field using Invoker. End phase, he died. I did not care about that, and he went off using Batteryman kind of things, and he had to get rid of my field, including a Tiras, and at the end of the combo, he did damage, but I still had one more turn, and I top deck a Destiny Rat into being able to pull the Warrior out of the grave. He's a really good card. Next, we've got a Hunter. Hunter's great. You can always work him into any combo you're doing if you want to pop cards. If you're facing a deck that you need to hurt the cards in their hands, such as, let's say, Bujin or something, you can use different silly combos such as Sharks and Rats to be able to pull him out really easily and pop 1 to 3 cards depending on how hard you work in your combo. 1 Juggler. As always, it's my favorite wind-up, and I like to run it in there. It's an extra level 4, which is really helpful too. And his effect is cool because it still activates if you set him face down, because when he's flipped up and all this stuff. And his wording says, once while this card is face up on the field, meaning you can't use it more than once if it's face up, but if it's face down you can use it. So, it's good. 1700 attack's also nice, and level 4 is wonderful. So, for non-wind-up monsters, I have a Firefist Bear. Firefist Bear is good because he cleans up your back row. You don't really care. I mean, popping monsters is cool, and that's really good. And you can search him, but you never do. His whole entire purpose there is clean your back row for other cards. And it's like, destroy one of the back row, yes, and you just happen to be able to pop one of your opponent's monsters too, which is good. And the tech of the day is Moralltach. I've been liking it for a while. It's interesting. I mentioned it in my guest upload on Dan's channel at one point in time. It was, being able to summon him and pop cards and do damage and stuff is good, and it's really nice there. So he kind of makes people scared to pop your back row as well, which is something that's good. 3 Factory, as always, this is a really good card. It gets MST'd. Look at the soldier sitting there on the field, or on his card art, but he doesn't do much for you. It searches your cards, which is great. Good combo card, good combo searcher, beautiful. But a lot of times it gets MST'd. But when it doesn't, especially with like the huge rest of the deck that can be MST'd, it's like this card nets you so much plus, especially with Rabbit. This plus Rabbit if you get this on the field for multiple turns, is good. Especially if you get 2 rabbits running, that means every turn you're getting a search in the first turn, second turn, stuff like that, and you can get so much plus off these cards that I would never suggest taking it down from 3. Next we've got 3 Tenki. Ignore the EU one in the middle. Gold Rare is my favorite one, just mentioning, but this card searches for rabbit. If you're in an extreme situation or you really need to get a card out of your opponent's hand, you can search for the where is he? Hunter, because it is also a Beast Warrior. And if you need to search for the card Bear, you can, and that's just to get rid of problematic monsters. But the main point of the Tenki is search for rabbit, and once you get a rabbit in play, it's really good. 3 MST. MST is an amazing card. You can just get rid of problematic cards, and since this isn't a TK deck, I suggest running 3 in this deck. You don't have to run 3 if you don't personally like it at 3, but I've always found it useful. We've got the 1-of spells, Book of Moon just because Pappy's in there and you can do more damage, Book of Moon because Alucard's in there and you can pop cards, and just Book of Moon stops you from dying since you do have the rabbit that has to jump out of the way and leave your field wide open. Dark Hole, it is an OTK based deck, so I would suggest using Dark Hole. You don't have to run it, there are lots of cards to get around it, but I've always just found running Dark Hole in the Wind-Up deck to be good. Being able to blow up that one monster or even several monsters and force them to waste effects. If you Dark Hole your empty field, hands don't go off and stuff, I've always just found it really nice. 1 Gold Sarc. Gold Sarc is really good because Gold Sarc puts into play Magician. It also gets you to a rabbit if you're in an emergency, and it also can get you rats if you're needing of that. It can also get you to your Dark Hole, and since this is a 1-of card that's really good, you like searching for that, and it can search for anything that you need if you need key cards. Being able to search for any card and get it the turn after the current one is really nice. I mean, you pass a turn and you get it. And Mind Control, because we are running 3, 4, and 5 level, you can take cards and make so many plays, as well as you can take certain monsters and just pop cards and stuff, and it ends up being really nice. For the last spell, I am running 1 copy of Soul Charge. You don't need more, you won't ever get the opportunity to use more, and if you're using the card right, you don't pay more than like 2,000. You can pay 1,000 and get a rat and make an XYZ. You can pay 1,000 and get a rabbit, or you can pay several thousand and get these. The max I would ever suggest would be maybe, if you were crazy, making a 4, because you can summon Hunter, 4 others from the grave, tribute a card, XYZ something together, pitch to the graveyard, use a rat effect to pull back a Hunter, pop another card, and you can get down 3 to 4 in that one turn. So using Soul Charge to pop cards is good. So that's like a mini version of the hand loop, using this card to its maximum potential. For traps, we're starting off with 2 Goblin and flipping up, getting that rat, making games. 1 Mirror Force, because I always like having the 1 Mirror Force, and being able to flip that up does hurt. There are some cards, obviously, that cannot be affected by Mirror Force, but there are enough decks that get hurt by it that I would strongly say use. 3 Deep Prison, I still like Battle Traps, and Deep Prison's amazing because it gets around everything. It does target, but nobody cares, and you can side this out really easily if you feel like it. Then we have, to finish it off, the staple 4. Bottomless, Compulse, Torrential Warning. All great cards. Compulse can be used on your own guy if you really need to protect something. Torrential, you can Torrential, have your rabbits jump out of the way, it's beautiful. Warning stops cards, and Bottomless is nice. And you don't want to have your opponent get the strong cards out. Moving on to Extra Deck. I'll try and make the Extra Deck and Side Deck a little bit quicker since it has been about 8 minutes. We have 1 Alucard, because Alucard I've always loved. We have Leviair as a combo piece, being able to pull back the Magician and stuff, and the Invoker, just being able to get cards into play. And Fortune Tune is actually recent. I would not say that you need Fortune Tune. It's nice and it can recycle your rabbits and your rats, but it's not mandatory. There are other cards you can run. Leviathan I would strongly advocate for running though. It gives you a free detach, it allows you to use Hunter and loops and stuff, so being able to pull Hunter back, tribute a card, detach Hunter to the grave, and pull it back out instantly, allowing you to pop multiple cards. 4's Pappy. I'm actually purchasing an ulti-rare one soon, so just letting you know about that. It's a really good combo card. Abyss Dweller, Shark Knight, Castel, just all kind of basic cards. And just Black Ship, Cowboy. Heartland Draco is very key, especially since you can take games with that 2000. And Rhapsodian of Berserk, you have the ability to make any rank 4s you want. There are tons of rank 4s, such as Exciton, that you can be running. I'm personally not running Exciton, I'm not a fan of it, but you can use it so easily. Because you can make yourself have less cards than your opponent really easily with this deck. Exciton is not a bad card by any stretch of the mind to use in this deck. I really just don't have the room per se. If I were to run it, Fortune Tune would probably come out for it, just because I don't really ever make her. I make everything else. I've made every single XYZ in this entire extra deck, except for, what was it? I have not made Rhapsody and Berserk in a while, but I have made it. And then, rank 5s, I'm currently only playing 2. Tiras is my generic, I always go into this card, and Shark Fortress when I'm trying to win. You don't have to run any of these. I'd like to get a secret of this, obviously, but you don't have to run Fortress. Sometimes I run Volcasaurus and stuff, and it's really nice. Going on to side really quick. We have 2 Flying Sea and 2 Max Sea just to stop XYZs like Madolches and stuff. 2 Effect Failures against Madolches and 2 DD Crow against any deck that uses the graveyard at all. I prefer trap or like hand traps to regular traps being sided in, just because being able to side in a hand trap, they can't respond to your hand as well as they can other cards. Next we have a Twister and 2 Defusion. Twister stops skill drain, which hurts you. Defusion is great against Shaddolls because they don't get their effects off, and it really hurts you if they do, so that is our point behind Defusion. Next we have 3 Shadow Mirror and a Light Mirror, just because fighting Shaddolls, and this, you can sight out your Hunter when you're facing Shaddolls because you have no need to discard their cards, and you will not be able to use an effect in the first place, so Light Mirror is just good. That was my side. I went really quick through the side deck just to explain how the deck works. It's 100% combo based. Here, let me reorder this. Just to do a really quick, as what was it? Waffles does a little killer combo. It's not going to be nothing like that, but in the end, for a good combo to be on the field, you want to have in play a rabbit and let's say a factory. And if you're going to do this combo perfectly, you want to also have like a shark and a magician in your hand. Other cards are always nice. Being able to just summon magician, special shark, trigger the factory, search for a shark, magician's effect, special summon something. Let's say you want the rat, just going for the generic Madolche play. Let's see how much I can zoom out. You can just do silly combos like this. Go into your, let's say, Pappy here. Detach stuff. I mean, you can do that. Or another one. Rabbit, banish magician. And then you can go these 2 over here into Leviair. Pull back magician, go shark, search again. I mean, you can do any kind of combination you want. The deck is very, very versatile on what you can do with it, how you can do things. This is just a very quick, brief explanation, as always, of what the deck can do. Just showing you, for really good combos, sorry, I didn't mean to throw that, but for really good combos, all you have to do is get a factory and a magician, or a factory and a rabbit in play. The sooner you get your magician, the more you can explode, and you don't have that magician to win games. You can play 100% off of rabbit beatdown with toolbox of XYZs. You can make any XYZ any turn of the game if your deck is functioning properly. That is what I'm going to advocate for. So what you think, what extra deck cards you would like to see me running in this if you care, what decks you'd like to see next. Remember to like if you want the Better Man's deck profile, because he won't post it without it. What deck profiles you'd like to see next too? Tell me. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a wonderful day. Yeah.